They called him savage, untouchable, a beast better left behind bars. At the far end of the dusty auction yard, a massive German shepherd stood chained, his head low, amber eyes burning with mistrust. His body was scarred, his coat dulled, and every shift of his weight sent the chain clinking against the rusted rails. People didn't stop long. A quick glance, a whisper, and then they moved on. "That one's trouble," someone muttered. "Snapped at 2 handlers last week." Another added, the name stuck. Monster. No one knew his real story. Some said he'd been bred for fighting. Others swore he'd been beaten into violence. Whatever the truth, fear had built a wall higher than the pen that held him. The auctioneer's voice cracked as he introduced the dog, Lot 84, 4 years old, strong but unpredictable. "Handle with care." His words carried more warning than promise. The crowd chuckled uneasily. Bidders shuffled their feet. No one raised a hand. The dog wasn't worth the risk. And then through the haze of dust and murmurs came a sound no one expected. A child's voice. "Why is he alone?" A little boy, no more than 6, stood hand in hand with his father. They had come to see ponies, maybe goats, but the boy's eyes were fixed on the chained shepherd in the far pen. "Not that one," the father said quickly. "He's dangerous." But the boy didn't move. He took a step forward, then another. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "Kid, get back," someone shouted. The shepherd's ears shot forward, his body tensed, a growl rumbling deep in his chest. He was a coiled spring ready to strike. The auctioneer dropped his gavel, lunging toward the rail. But the boy didn't flinch. He slipped free of his father's hand, walking straight to the pen as though nothing in the world could touch him. Dust swirled in the sunlight, hanging thick in the air. And then it happened. The boy reached his hand through the rails, palm open, fingers trembling just slightly. The dog's growl deepened, teeth flashing white. The crowd held its breath. But instead of lunging, the shepherd froze, his amber eyes locked on the boy's small hand. Seconds passed. The growl faded. His ears twitched. And then for the first time in years, he stepped forward, not with fury, but with something else, something fragile. The boy's hand touched the top of the dog's head. The massive German shepherd trembled. His lips fell still. His tail gave the faintest, uncertain wag. A sound rose from his chest. Not a snarl, but a whimper. He pressed his forehead into the boy's palm as though he had been waiting his entire life for this one moment. "You're not a monster," the boy whispered. The pen fell silent. People stared, slack-jawed. A handler rubbed his eye. "That dog's drawn blood from grown men," he muttered. "Now look at him." The shepherd leaned harder into the boy's touch, eyes closing. The tension melted away. Walls built by years of pain cracked and fell in the dust of that auction yard. The boy's father finally spoke, his voice unsteady. "We can't just leave him here." The auctioneer hesitated. "Sir, this dog has a reputation. He won't be easy." But the father looked at his son, then at the dog whose gaze now carried something more like hope than men. "I think he's already chosen us," he said. When the bidding opened, only one hand rose. The gavel came down. "Sold." The boy hugged the dog's neck, and for the first time in years, the so-called monster wagged his tail without fear. On the ride home, the shepherd lay curled at the boy's feet, his head heavy in the child's lap. Every stroke of those small fingers pulled him deeper into a peace he had long forgotten. Weeks passed. The dog became the boy's shadow guarding him, following him, sleeping at his side. The scars remained, yes, but they no longer defined him. To the world he was still Lot 84, the beast from the auction. But in the boy's eyes he was something greater. Not a monster, not a threat. Family.